What is going on, my herd? Welcome to episode 20 of our Does It Drift video series. Today we have a head-to-head, and in the end, we are guaranteed to have the currently the best drift car in GTA Online. Get off the phone, Lester. Couple guesses of people that are thinking, you know, it could be this, could be that. Both were really quite good guesses. However, I figured the one that we would get would be the Willard Faction. I'm gonna take a little look at my drift garage, some of my favorite drift cars sitting here. And then we're gonna get to it. In the red corner, the Willard Faction. Alright, and this is not bagged, it does not have the upgrade in it, it's just stock. I bought it from Benny's and we're rocking it. And in the blue corner, the one that I knew people likely would not get, the class of Mamba. We're not going to sit here and bullshit over these. Both of these cars are quite great. You can see the Willard Faction featured in many of RWD Media's, Rear Wheel Drive Media's drifting videos. That seems to be one of his favorites, if not his favorite. However, the class of Mamba you will not see in I haven't even seen any videos on it. So we're going to get right into it. We'll go heads is the Clasa Mamba. Tails, okay. So we are actually going to start in the faction. Game plan for this video is to bring each of the cars to two different test tracks. I had a little brain lapse there. I couldn't remember what the hell class the Willard Faction was in. I will say right off the bat, I'm going to stance these, although both of the cars do drift without a stance. Okay, you know, they're not, I wouldn't say they're quite drift worthy where that's what you're going to want to do with them. There is a substantial difference when you stance it. However, well, let's show you in this car. This is not stanced. Alright, drifts plenty fine, right? So we are stanced up, and you will see an immediate change up in how this thing drifts. And I'm not denying it for a second. It is a great drifter. So what makes the best drifter in GTA? If you're looking for a drift car in GTA, what makes it? Well, a car that you're not having to smash on the e-brake would be great. A car that actually looks realistic in drifting, like that. Can't deny that for a second. Doesn't really matter what the hell you have to pay for it, as long as you know you're getting a drift car. I think we'd all pay about $10 million for one at this point in time. Especially after getting just completely trolled by Rockstar with the Drift Tampa. And yes, I love this car, guys. This thing will do what you want it to do. Of course, I'm a little bit sloppy because it's such a slow drifter. Like there's not a lot of traction, so you're not going to be able to, like, oh no, I'm oversteering. I need to, well, you're going to have like a 3 or 4 second setup to get out of that oversteer, unfortunately. Like right there. If I was in the Banshee 900R or something, I would easily have been able to correct myself, reline up, and it would hardly even be noticeable. It would be noticeable. It looked like a little bit of a pause, but that was about it. You know, there you could tell I had to stop, relocate, figure everything out. But look at this car, guys. I mean, can you deny for a second on why it's in this video? We're on a short drift track, too, so it's not like, you know, you're seeing the full potential here yet. All you're seeing is the great ability that this damn thing has for, like, this is so difficult to do in the Futo without shifting, and this thing wants to go twice the length. You know, I can go all the way out to that wall and I have to, like, slow down so I don't smash into it. I love this car. Now, does it look like a drift car? No, but what does that really matter at this point in time either? You know, looks aren't everything, and when they drift like a drift car in a game that is not really supporting drifting by any means, come on now. And the thing that I love about this car is you can just hold down the gas as long as the car is at an angle and you keep the car at an angle and don't attempt to straighten it out too much. You don't have to smash the e-brake every second. You only have to smash it like every 5 seconds. You know what I mean? It's really quite interesting. Now in the shorter stuff, every transfer you're stuck with smashing that e-brake. But let's get one more good drift through this section, and we're gonna go get the Mamba and bring it out to this track. We got her in the trailer. Ooh, we got our first shift right there. I was going for a weird section. I was trying to double up a link. That should have been one transfer in there. I wasn't transferring at all. I almost made it too. Now I want to try to make that link. She's a must-have, I'll tell you that much at this point in time. If you haven't gathered that already, if you're not already online ordering yourself up a Willard Faction, you may want to contemplate that. Although maybe you're waiting for the Mamba. Here's that corner. And there's the clean drift around it. I love it. I love it. Mamba is in the Sports Classics, and it actually is the first Sports Classic car that I will be testing in the Does It Drift video series. I'm not sure how long it'll take now to get to episode 30, being that there's only another probably 10 more episodes here without some DLC. We probably only have another 10 episodes or so. Now, that's not the exact number, don't get me wrong. But I think I have like 7 cars written down and another 4 to 5 in my brain. And some of those are head-to-heads too, I guess, so there's more than just 10 cars there. So let's show you this bad boy drifting without a stance. You'll notice a lot of body roll, but you'll notice that... Holy shit, I don't want to go on the wall. You'll notice that she drifts, and she drifts quick. You don't like that body roll, you say? Well, that is coming from the suspension and the traction. Now, the one thing I do want to tell you guys, I'm not going to waste my time with blowing up my car. Shoot it right behind the tire in the panel right there. Bam. Oh shit. Which car looks more like a drift car? Neither of them really. This is kind of modeled after like a Shelby Cobra kinda. And then the other one is modeled after like a Grand National or a Monte Carlo, maybe a mix of the two. Now the front has given me a little bit of hell on this car, but if you're at that right distance and you do it just like that, keep those crosshairs below the midder. God, I can't speak today. It's one of those days. Keep it in that middle area below the mid hub of the wheel, and you won't have any issues. Now remember, back here, don't shoot in the middle. You're shooting right back there. Let's show you what the old Mamba's got to deal with. Have yet to hit the e-brake. That was all just a burnout. Alright, gotta get used to this now. This is a lot quicker of a drifter, but it's like the same handling as the Faction, where it's willing to just burn out and go, you know what I mean, like that, no shift at all. All the way out to the wall if I want it to go. Can we link this part? Of course we can. It's the part we were just doing in the end there. Guys, the Schwarzer's been my favorite drift car in this game since I started drifting and realized the Schwarzer was as crazy as it is. The Schwarzer ain't got shit on these cars, man. It really doesn't. These are monsters in their own. They're each gonna take practice, and different types of practice, you know what I mean? But once you get that practice down, I guarantee you're going to be doing some pretty impressive looking drifts. Linking things that you never really thought were linkable. And I think you're going to realize that a little bit more, especially if you watch my other Does It Drift videos, and you've seen me bring it to the track that we're going to next. Watching how these vehicles perform compared to the other ones that we've brought. I mean, just look. If you watch how I'm linking this track compared to how I'd link it in the Futo, it's nuts, guys. These are drift cars. These are drift cars. The other cars are like cars we're forcing to drift. Oh, man. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, the other cars are great out there, too. There's reasons the Futo scored the 29. There's reasons the Schwarzer scored high. There's Rapid GTs up there, too. There's reasons that we've scored high in numerous cars. The truck scored decent. When you're scoring on the scale that I've been scoring on, these cars are off the charts. I don't care if they cost $10 million, they're off the charts. These are drift cars. Like I said, if you want to drift in GTA, here you go, my friends. No e-brake right there. No e-brake at all. From the time I went around that last corner, I've hit the e-brake once from that point. Yeah. Oh, did you see how far that drift was, though? Look at how straight and far that was, and I think I hit the e-brake once so I didn't slam into that wall. I've been getting a lot of messages from the high-speed drifters out there. You know how I've said this drift community is split in two. The people that drift in the way that we're drifting in the EMDA standards, and the high-speed pull a e-brake and slide sideways type of drifting. You know my views on that if you've watched my past videos. One is e-brake sliding and one's drifting. Well, try to tell that to those people. You know, it's very, very difficult to explain that the high-speed e-brake slides are not what I'm going for here. In the future, you'll probably be seeing some high-speed drifts, some reverse entries, 360 entries, things along those lines that, well, Blacksheep TV isn't quite acquainted with yet. So not only am I going to be running into how-tos in the future of high-speed drifting, but also you're going to watch my progression. I'll show you the first couple sessions when I actually begin it. We'll be setting up vehicles to be handling that type of drift, and yeah. But as I always say, this is not that. This is Does It Drift, and this is episode 20, and by no means should we be taken away from these cars. Alright, so there was a little shift there, without the e-brake, that is. I'm having to hit the e-brake a bit more than what I assumed I would have to in this car, which is fine, don't get me wrong, but I am hitting it quite a bit more than what I assumed was going to happen. Good entry right there. The car is a slow drifter, so as soon as you start getting into the speed that you'd like to see, she shifts on you. If you're not completely angled out and throwing her hard, you know, you got to be really angled. I'll tell you one thing, these cars they don't like to stance out on the track. You kind of have to bring them into this pit. So bring them out into this pit. You know, if you got a bunch of people on this track, go over to the other side of the track, let people stance. Maybe even stance them one at a time. This track is so temperamental. And yes, I am going to be releasing this track within the next few days. It's very close to complete. I'm 99.9% sure we had it stance properly the first time too, but it was acting a little bit not quite how I expected it to act. I have not had either of these cars on this track. This is the most difficult of difficult drift tracks as well, so let's not take too much away from these cars if they don't completely react how we want them to react, but I'm guessing they will if we do a little practice here. We're going to do a couple more laps in this beast, and then we're going to go grab the DeClass Mamba out of our trailer. We're going to get a couple laps with that beast, then we'll go into free mode into our garage, and we'll rate these B-noches, alright? That's the angle you need, but that's a little bit exaggerated. I wish this whole track was linkable. That's the real goal for it. Long-term goals. Hashtag goals. It doesn't like the high-speed transfer left to right. Or right to left. Yep, that was a shitty one. I'm having to hit the e-brake just about normal, you know, but the car drifts at the most. It's impressive. It's just as good as the Schwarzer, if not, I would say probably better. Now, I like the look of the Benz a little better, but I would probably prefer the performance of this better. Oh. This car has given me a little bit of problems with the stancing, of course, but that was before I realized how the hell to stance it. So I'm curious to see how it reacts up here. It worked alright, worked alright. That's only one. We're a quarter of the way there. Right away, oh, she's more slippery, but I think it's because it's willing to go faster. So it's a faster car in general, therefore it'll drift in its first gear a little bit faster than say that Faction will, which allows see, I was getting a little too used to that Faction, so now I'm going to do some spinning out, which allows you to do longer drifts, believe it or not. As soon as you get this level of slick down, I was trying to push my luck with no e-brake right there. It'll drift just fine with no e-brake if you have enough angle, but then it's that learning factor of not oversteering. So you want to get it at that perfect angle where it's not going to shift, but it's going to be controllable. So they're unique. Both of them are unique. They're not, you can't, just because they both drift, similar, does not mean that they are the same vehicle. They're both different monsters. So it's not like own one and don't own the other. I'd own both of these things if I were you. Maybe then figure out which one you prefer more, because yeah, it's going to take some practice in whichever. It seems like this one has a little bit more of a learning curve because of the speed. However, that could be just because I got used to the Willard Faction. Look at this drift. Yeah, it's great, guys. That's the best drift I've had around that corner in any car. Now, there's not a whole lot of customizations for either of these cars. If you bring the Faction to Benny's and you do the airbag upgrade to it, I think then you have a little bit more for upgrades, but I don't know how that affects the performance. I've heard it makes it better. I've heard it makes it worse. I've just been told to keep it stock, so I kept it stock. So we'll do one more lap in the class of Mamba, and then we're going to go back to the garage, and we're going to get a grade on these things so we can get this video out here tonight. I also wanted to make a list of where all the vehicles that we've already graded are at, for our 20th episode, but I've been so smashed with work. I'm like riding the corner on this. I've been so smashed with real work that it's trying to get these out as quick as I can. I will get you guys that list as soon as I can. Drift myths, I will get you that as soon as I can. And I'm also going to be introducing something new to this channel as well. As I said, this is a kind of a gaming channel. However, it might be growing into something a little bit larger here in the future. So, appreciate it if you guys just kind of tag along with me. And let me know how I do on things. Let's get to the garage and get these things a grade, shall we? I had a lot of fun in this episode. I just love these cars. I really do. I really do. And both of these cars are phenomenal. I mean, I think they're stealing the cake from the Schwarzer. That says a lot, too. That says a lot. So these two were featured tonight in the 20th episode of Does It Drift? And yeah, we're at the 20th episode already. And these are the best drift cars. I feel very, very confident in offering these to you guys and giving you that information. Let's start off with the one that we did start off with this afternoon, the Willard Faction. You go to Benny's, you go to stock. This is the only place you're getting it. You're paying $36,000. I did not go to Benny's. I did not do his upgrade. If you do that, let me know. Try this car out stock. Try it out with the upgrade. Let me know what you think. Like I said, I have heard both. One makes it better. One makes it, one said it makes it worse. But they all agree that it drifts just fine without. So, bam, I left it like this. You let me know what you think. I will be doing the upgrade in the future. I have some expensive vehicles to buy, so I'm not going to be spending $500,000 on this one as of right now. And it's competing completely just fine right now. So, the cost is $36,000. You're doing the upgrades. It's full cost upgrades. I'm pretty sure it's like $50,000 for the turbo, and it's expensive for the engine, transmission, the suspension, all that good stuff. So you're up there, but you're not really up there. Say you're in that 200K area, somewhere around, feel comfortable in that 250,000 area. And what you're getting is absolutely phenomenal. So the cost is a 10 out of 10. I don't think we have to beat around the bush on that one. Driftability, when I've given the Schwarzer and all of those a 9, 10, 10 out of 10, this is a 10 out of 10. Again, that's not even on the scale. In efficiency, it drifts normal. You can get it affordable. You don't have to run around the goddamn map trying to find one. You can buy one for $36K. It's a couple contact missions, and you got yourself a driftable vehicle in your garage. However, you're still going to want to do those upgrades, and that's where the other money comes in to get you up to that $250,000. Either way, efficiency 10 out of 10. I wish we had a better scale to scale these things on, but hey, they're the best drift cars. There's no reason to make a scale of their own. Why make them compete with themselves when they have the whole field that they are really competing with? 30 out of 30, our first perfect score for a drift car, scored by the Willard Faction. So that brings us here to the class of Mamba. Well, there is no Benny's upgrade on this thing. We know exactly what it does and what it doesn't do. The thing that absolutely shocks me with this car is the amount of time you can stay off of the e-brake. Same with both of them. As long as you have a real nice angle with the car, you don't have to touch the e-brake, and it's so fun. It's so fulfilling. It's so rewarding to get nice, long, linked drifts. Cost, however, this thing is $995,000 stock. When you do the upgrades, although there's not much, I think the biggest upgrade that you're looking at is you can chop the top. Basically, if you see those headrest roll bars back there, you're pulling those out, you're pulling the fiberglass top off, and you're replacing it with one long rectangular bar in the back. That's it. Otherwise, you can just pull the top off like a normal convertible. Those are your two big upgrades on it. Other than that, you have wheels, the exhaust is on the side. Cost of what you're getting out of it, 10 out of 10. I don't think we have to complain for a second with that one. Driftability, I'm not even going to think about that, 10 out of 10. And efficiency, although it doesn't stance normally, there's such a gap in the back right there where we're stancing it that it drifts as normal as can be to me. The one issue I have had in free mode is when I shoot the front tires, it smoked on me a couple times. So that's a bitch because you have to call it in then, you know, and that kind of sucks. It's still a 10 out of 10 on another scale. And I will say right off the bat, which one is the best drift car? Well, it's this one, guys. It's this one. It's faster. You can hold off of the e-brake for longer. You can link longer drifts. The drifts, it's better. It's better in almost 3 or 4 different ways. Now, if I figure out that once you put the bags on it, that this one is better, I'll tell you. But for right now, the best drift car in the game, although they're both scoring 30 out of 30 on the DID scale, this is the better of the two. If they had a scale of their own, this would be scoring a little bit higher, despite the cost being 4 or 5 times the same amount, you know, of this one. And there you have it, my Black Sheep herd. I definitely hope you enjoyed this one. Keep your eyes peeled for the list of how all of these things scored over the past 20 episodes. And keep your eyes peeled for that Drift Myths episode 1. I know I keep talking about it, but the dang thing's taking forever. It's probably going to be quite the series when it's all said and done. I think there's only going to be 1 episode every once in a while, based on the amount of time and science that has to go down in editing and overlapping and blah, 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 blah. I can't complain too much. I appreciate you guys out there. I appreciate all of my subscribers. I definitely do. Although I have bad days at times, I always try to get my videos out and I always try to stay positive with you guys. And that's where you guys come in. I appreciate you for tuning in, liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing those videos. I hope you stay happy, stay positive, and we will definitely speak to you next time.